All right, welcome back for another deep dive.
Always happy to be back.
Today we're going to Italy,
Oh,
but not like, the Italy you're thinking of.
hey.
We're going to the Italy of the future, 2025 to be exact.
Ooh, futuristic Italy. I like it.
Yeah, so picture this. A bustling Italian ristorante.
I can smell the pasta already.
Right, that aroma of pasta ai vongole is just divine,
Yes.
but there's a twist.
Okay, there's always a twist with you.
Everyone's glued to their screens.
Ah, so that's the 2025 part.
Exactly.
Makes it think, doesn't it?
It really does. And that's what we're diving into today with an excerpt from a fictional story called Ristorante Social.
Ristorante Social. Okay.
Yeah, it's set in, like I said, 2025.
Right.
And it explores how technology is changing the way we interact.
The way we connect or maybe disconnect.
Exactly. Are we losing something vital in this digital age, or is this just like evolution?
The big questions.
Yeah, really big questions. So in this story, we meet a scenario, a man in his 60s. Okay.
Who's on a date with Donatella.
All right, a date in a digital world.
Right. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
Ascanio notices something kind of ironic.
Ironic how.
Donatella, who's all about individuality,
Yeah.
doesn't hesitate to snap a picture of their food for social media.
Ah, the classic food pic.
I know, right?
It's interesting though, isn't it? Like, we want to be unique,
Right.
but we also crave this validation from others. Social media, it's like it amplifies that whole thing.
It's true. And then there's Ascanio's son, Dario.
Okay, bringing in the next generation.
Right. He's always online at home,
The stereotypical teenager.
Totally. So is there really a difference between him glued to a computer
Yeah.
and Donatella constantly on her phone?
I mean, they're both immersed in that digital world, just different ways of doing it.
Right. But Donatella actually defends social media.
Oh, how so?
She calls it a lifeline,
Mm-hmm.
a way to connect, recharge. Interesting. It makes you think about how we each view our own relationship with these platforms.
It really does.
Are they tools or distractions?
Right. Or maybe a bit of both.
Maybe, yeah.
Now, amidst all this digital buzz, the story shifts to the pasta alle vongole.
Ah, back to the food.
Yeah, and the way it's described, the flavors, the aroma, the hint of the sea, it's like a sensory escape.
I see, a contrast to the digital world.
Exactly. But then the moment's broken.
Oh, no.
Ascanio looks around the restaurant, and almost everyone is engrossed in their devices.
So it's like a sea of screens.
Yeah, and it's kind of unsettling.
But it makes you wonder, is this our future?
Because we're already seeing this now, right?
We are, yeah. Out with friends, everyone's on their phones.
Exactly. But then the story throws in another curveball.
Okay, what now?
Donatella's meta glasses.
Meta glasses, huh?
These aren't just any smart glasses.
Ow.
She can access information, record, even chat with her virtual assistant,
Wow.
all through bone conduction.
That's pretty advanced.
Totally mind-blowing.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing what technology can do.
Right. But where does convenience end and an intrusion begin?
That's the big question.
Yeah, for sure.
It seems like this story is really pushing us to think about those boundaries.
It really is. And, the story kind of delves into the different ways people use social media.
Right, like you've got the older generations on Facebook connecting with family and friends.
Yeah, and then you've got the visual sharers on Instagram.
Of course, can't forget the fast-paced world of TikTok.
Right, and then there's LinkedIn for professionals.
And X for, well, everything.
Yeah, all the news and debates, and Snapchat for those quick connections.
And then, of course, there's YouTube, the endless rabbit hole of content.
It's amazing how diverse our digital lives have become.
And how fragmented, in a way.
That's true. But then there's this moment that's, it's kind of chilling. Donatella, using her meta glasses, just pulls up detailed information about Ascanio's son, Dario.
Just like that.
Yeah, just by asking her glasses.
Wow. Talk about accessible information.
Right. But it makes you wonder, at what cost?
Yeah, that's a bit unnerving. I mean, convenience is great.
Sure.
But what about privacy?
That's what Ascanio's thinking, too. He's visibly uncomfortable with all of this.
Makes sense. It's a lot to take in.
It is, and I think he represents that part of us that's a little uneasy about how fast technology is advancing.
It's not just a digital revolution anymore.
What do you mean?
I mean, it's changing us as humans, like how we think, how we interact. It's almost like an evolution of ourselves.
That's a pretty profound thought.
It is, and it's something this story really brings to light.
It does. And it makes you wonder, where do we go from here?
That's a question we'll have to grapple with, both individually and as a society.
For sure. So much to think about.
Yeah, Restaurante Social definitely gives us a lot to chew on.
It does.
I'm curious to hear what you think about all this.
Me too. But let's continue this conversation in part 2.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, it's like we're becoming part machine, part human.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, that blurring of lines between, us and technology.
And it makes you think, is this really where we're headed? Like everyone with augmented reality glasses, always connected, living in this kind of digital overlay of the real world?
Well, the story definitely presents that as a possibility, and some might say it's already happening in a way, but it also, like, challenges us to think about what that means. Like, are we giving up too much, like our privacy, or those genuine human connection?
And then there's the whole issue of the digital divide. Like, will everyone have access to these technologies, or is it just going to make things even more unequal?
That's a really important point. I mean, when you have, these advancements that have the potential to change, so much, you really have to think about, about fairness, about everyone having the opportunity to benefit.
Absolutely. But getting back to the story, to Ascanio and Donatella, how does their date end? Does Ascanio kind of come to terms with this digital future?
Well, the ending it's interesting. It's kind of open-ended. Like, Ascanio tries to kind of shrug it off, even orders another course. But you can tell that what Donatella's been talking about, like how technology is everywhere, it's really gotten to him. Like, he's struggling with it, with this whole idea of, being an individual, but also being, swept up in all this.
So it's like he's in this in-between space, right? Not sure where he fits in.
Exactly. And I think a lot of us can relate to that feeling these days. Trying to figure out this whole digital world, like how to be a part of it, but not let it, take over.
Yeah, it's like finding that balance.
Yeah, finding that balance, and maybe a good plate of pasta alle vongole can help with that process.
Oh, definitely.
There's something about a shared meal, that connection in the real world, that feels good, and amidst all the digital noise, but then it brings up that bigger question, What does all of this mean for us? I mean, are we just going to become, totally dependent on our devices, or can we figure out a way to use technology so that it makes our lives better without losing what makes us us?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and I believe that we do have a choice. I mean, technology, it's a tool, right? And like any tool, it can be used for good or bad. It really comes down to us, to figuring out, where the boundaries are, where to draw the line, and making sure that we're the ones in control.
That's a really powerful point. It's like we can't just, blindly accept every new gadget, every new app. We have to think about it, make conscious choices about how we're using it, and set some limits for ourselves.
Exactly. And remember, like, technology it's not static. It's always changing, always evolving. What seems like, science fiction today could be, totally normal tomorrow. So we have to stay informed, keep talking about these things, and really try to shape the future that we want.
So Ristorante Social, it's not just like a prediction. It's like it's a call to action. It's making us think about how we're using technology, how it's affecting us, and encouraging us to make choices that are right for us, that reflect our values.
Exactly. It's a reminder that technology, it's a powerful force. And it can be, it can be a good thing. It can connect us, empower us, give us amazing opportunities, but it can also, isolate us, control us, take away our privacy. So it's about being aware, being intentional, being mindful.
Yeah, we have to be more aware of how much we're using it, make sure we're still connecting with people in the real world, and really push for technology to be used in a way that's ethical, that's responsible.
Well said. And for all of you listening, as you're, figuring out this whole digital world, we challenge you to think about your own relationship with technology. Like, how is it affecting the way you interact, the way you see things, the way you see yourself?
What choices are you making, to make sure that technology is making your life better without taking away from who you are?
Is Ristorante Social a glimpse of what's inevitably going to happen, or is it a warning, like a wake-up call that we can learn from? The answer, it's in our hands, and maybe kind of ironically on our smartphones.
That's a really powerful thought. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into Ristorante Social.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, everyone, stay curious and stay connected in the real world, that is.
Yeah, and it's like it's not just about the glasses or the phones themselves. It's that whole idea of who's really in control.
That's a big one. Are we using technology or is it using us?
Exactly. And that's something the story really, really makes you think about. Like all those little ways technology can kind of nudge us.
Oh, yeah, it's subtle, but it's definitely there. Like the algorithms, right? They decide what we see on social media and the notifications, they're always pulling us back in. And then there's all that data they're collecting on us and everything we do online.
It's kind of creepy when you think about it. It is. And that's why, it's more important than ever to be aware of it,
Yeah.
to understand how it all works and to make choices, conscious choices about how we use technology. We got to be the ones driving, not just along for the ride.
Absolutely. Thinking about Ristorante Social, it's almost like a mirror, right? Reflecting all our hopes and anxieties about the future.
hmm It shows us this world that's full of possibilities, but also some pretty scary stuff.
And the story doesn't really give us easy answers, does it?
It doesn't know, but I think that's one of the things that makes it so good. It leaves us with more questions than answers.
Yeah.
It makes us really think about our own relationship with technology, the choices we make every single day.
So for everyone listening, we really hope this story gets you thinking, gets you talking. What did you connect with? What are your hopes and fears about the future, about technology? How can we make sure that technology is serving us, not the other way around?
Yeah, this is a conversation we all need to be having. The future's not set in stone. We can all be part of shaping it. Let's use this story as a starting point, to think critically, make informed decisions, and work together to make sure technology is used for good, to make the world a better place, while still, holding on to what makes us human.
That's a great way to put it. And thanks to everyone for joining us for this deep dive into Ristorante Social.
It's been a pleasure.
And until next time, stay curious and stay engaged with the world, that is, not just your screens.